Trial that might have saved her life came too late, and she was offered palliative care instead.
Helena Calderwood is a 12-year-old leukemia survivor fighting for equal access to medicine for all Canadians. She recently spoke to the All-Party Women's Caucus about the need for children to get better access to clinical trials and treatment. And Helena joins us this morning with pediatric oncologist Dr. Meredith Irwin to explain the proposal that she helped spearhead to ensure no child gets left behind. Thank you both for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Helena, you've been on a journey. Tell me a little bit about the initiative that you've been part of.
So, what I'm advocating for is fair access and faster access to clinical trials for kids with cancer, no matter where they live in Canada or how much money their family has. This is really important to me because even though I'm a cancer survivor, I have many friends who are still fighting, and many of them have had trouble getting access to clinical trials to save their lives. Like my friend Jaden, she relapsed for the 8th time and entered her 9th fight in January. She ran out of treatment options in Canada, but she qualified for a clinical trial, although it came too slow, and so she passed away in March.
And this is, I mean, as you said, you're a survivor, but to see your friends going through this and at your young age is difficult, no doubt. And Doctor, we just saw some of the stats here. 5% of cancer research funding directed to childhood cancer. That is so low, and it's surprising to hear that. Why is that, and what needs to be done?
So I think one of the issues is that there's a good story. We cure 80% of kids with pediatric cancer, but unfortunately for the 20%, we don't hear about that 20% so often. And when they do recur or relapse, as Helena's friend has done, it's very difficult to cure them with our standard therapies, and that's when we need to turn to clinical trials.
Right. And Helena, I understand that you met with the Minister of Health and also Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. What was that like?
They were quite intimidating, actually. But after I presented the letter to Prime Minister Trudeau, I didn't have the proposal, but he told me to not stop, and you know what? I'm not going to stop. And the Minister of Health really listened to me as I presented the proposal, and I really believe she cared.
So this proposal, how do you think, in an ideal world, how do you see it fixing what needs to be fixed here in Canada?
Well, I think that's more of a question for Dr. Irwin.
Sure, yeah.
Sure. I think one of the things that this group, ACORN, together with Helena and her family, are advocating for is really a coordinated system. Right now, each province has a different system and decision-making process to decide when a child qualifies for a clinical trial. So there's no harmonized system so that a child in one province has the same access as a child, say, in Ontario.
I'm just looking at some of the proposal itself. It's been endorsed by 31 cancer organizations and 30 pediatric oncologists, of course, including yourself, Dr. Irwin. How can someone help out?
I think really it's to advocate, because we have all of these different systems across the country, but pediatric cancer, thankfully, is fairly rare, so that not all the provinces have the same system. So I think we have to advocate for something maybe at the federal level, maybe a working group, an expert panel to help come up with some guidelines, some sort of policy so that everyone's getting equal access no matter where you live. Right now, most of the promising treatments are available in places like Toronto or Montreal or Vancouver, but many of our families and children live elsewhere, and it's really not fair to limit their access.
So this means talking to your local MPs and the incredible work that you're doing, Helena.
Thank you.
If anyone wants to find out more about where to go about your web, you do have a website?
Yeah.
Okay, so where can people reach you?
So you can go to helenashope.com, and it has more info on this initiative and also ways you can help my advocacy work.
And you're doing incredible work. Thank you so much to you both for joining us. And again, helenashope.com for more information. We'll also go on our website, breakfasttelevision.ca. We'll be right back. Thank you.